This is the final podcast number 5 for UF100 Summer 23. So the first question you ask here is, what is the most challenging aspect for you in the last 5 weeks, and why? I think group work was definitely the most challenging. Having to deal with two other people in the group that weren't able or willing to contribute a ton to the work that we had to do, and not paying attention to deadlines and things of that nature was really difficult. There were individual assignments we had to do and group assignments, and I had to remind each of my group mates of what to do, when to do it, and when it came to the group work, I ended up doing a lot of it myself, whether it be Chris having to deal with his family situation, which I understand, and then to Josh, who was unwilling or didn't really care to do a lot of the work that needed to be done. And if he was asked to do something, there was normally a argument or discussion around it, him trying to do the least amount of work possible. And I think, for there to be a group project done, everybody needs to be on the same page, and everybody needs to be willing to put in the effort. And especially during these 5 weeks, it's not been an easy thing to do to get, 3 strangers together and try to get a group project done. It's not an easy thing to do. And I think, regardless of what my group mates did, I think we were able to be successful in certain areas. Again, I hate, I want to be humble in this situation, but it's not really that possible, because I did do a lot of the work, and I think I put in a lot of work, a lot of hours making sure that stuff got done. And save for a few things that Chris did, and then Josh coming through at the end with that final video. I think overall we produced a good product and a good video. That's what I have to say about that. And then, what was the most rewarding aspect of the following for me in the last 5 weeks, and why? I think critical thinking and discussion was really rewarding. A lot of our in-class discussions, based around prompts from you, the professor, or from our group presentations that we did. I think there were a lot of really good discussions, and exchanging of thoughts and ideas in that way. A couple of the presentations that stick out to me in a couple of discussions, where I think the Black Mirror episode with the bees, and then people basically having those bees kill people if they are voted for on Twitter, was a pretty interesting episode and a pretty interesting discussion based around that one. It brought up a lot of ideas of, like, should people be punished by the public, or based on X, Y, and Z, and do we blow things out of proportion sometimes, things of that nature. And I think my presentation on the hieroglyph preface reading was excellent as well. I thought that was definitely one of the better readings that we had. Actually, I think it was the best reading that we had. This class, and I think it brings up a lot of valid points about us kind of being stuck in a rut when it comes to advancing technology, and us, and people being afraid of it. And I think that brought up a lot of good discussion as well. Figuring out kind of what my classmates' hangups are on technology, and how we can innovate despite that fear, even though there has to be fear and risk involved if we want to move forward as a people. But yeah, overall, I think the class was great, and I think I did a really good job in the class, and it was despite the stresses of being on a group project, I enjoyed the class for these past 5 weeks, and thank you, Professor, for helping me, get this stuff done, despite the challenges that our group had. All right, that's it. Final podcast in the books. Thank you. Bye-bye.